Two Chairs No Waiting, episode number 751, listener feedback, September 2023. Two Chairs No Waiting is brought to you by the fine folks over at weaversdepartmentstore.com. Lots of new items over there. You can check out some of the brand new t-shirts that Weavers has. I think you'll enjoy them. And you can also head over and see the one that Floyd really likes, which is a Pink Floyd shirt. While you're there, you might want to also check out the nice caps. They got a cap and a sticker and a Christmas ornament, all with the decal that's on the side of the squad car. Head over to weaversdepartmentstore.com and check it out. Two Chairs No Waiting is also brought to you by donations from listeners just like you. Our executive producer this week are the folks from the Mayberry Meetup 2023. So thank you all for the donations y'all gave during the meetup. And thank you for being here with me. I'm Alan Newsom, the host of Two Chairs No Waiting. And it's always fun to be here and just talk about things about Mayberry. But this week, we're in for kind of a treat. So instead of just hearing from me, we're going to be able to hear from people, you, not me, in other words. We'll be able to hear from them about what they think and about what what they've seen during the podcast, all that kind of stuff. We don't get to do that a lot because often it's just me talking, right? Luckily, we did have an episode a few weeks ago that was Ken Junkin. We got to enjoy that one. And I hope you're going to enjoy this one as we get to hear. And I've got some stuff to read too, I believe. But we get to hear from a lot of you. So let's get right into that because I think we will definitely enjoy being able to hear. So we're going to start off with Tom Fogel. He gave me a call, and so let's hear from him up front. So, Tom, take it away.
Good morning, Alan. This is Tom Fogel calling from Ohio. Just finished watching the latest podcast with you and Kenneth Otis Junkin, and enjoyed that immensely. The stories are wonderful, and made me think of the things I've been through with coming to Mayberry events and whatnot. And I just want to let you guys know that although we'll never have the opportunity to do the meets that you have with Don Knotts and the folks as George Lindsay and such, just want to let you know that us super fans really enjoy the same feelings meeting you all, your tribute artists and the artists that have shown up for the Mayberry meetup. I've been coming to for the last at least 10 years, or not meetup rather, but the Mayberry days, and also the last couple of years of meetup, which has been fantastic. But anyway, I know I'm not the number one fan. Otis seems to have that sewed up, which is fine. But I am a super fan. Just wanted to let you know that you guys all are as genuine as you say Don Knotts was and all the others, and we appreciate everything you guys do. And thanks a lot, and I'll be seeing you in September.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you so much. That was very kind of you to say those things. That episode with Otis was episode number 748. Otis in the studio, or in studio is what it's called. And it's a good video episode, too, if you want to watch and hear Kenneth tell his stories. You can always catch our podcast episodes if you head over to twochairsnowaiting.com. You can go over there and you can watch or listen. Both things are available to you there to watch or listen. But I really do appreciate what you said, Tom. The cast members from the Andy Griffith Show have been an amazing group of people over the years to get to know and get to be around. And that's what Kenneth and I were talking about in that particular episode, Otis in studio. And it is very kind of you to say that the tribute artists are genuine people as well. So thank you. I will agree on the behalf of all the other tribute artists for certain. They're some of the great people because they love the Andy Griffith Show, and they dress up as these characters and go to these Mayberry events because they love it. And I hope that always comes across. And like when Kenneth and I were talking, we hoped that the stories we're telling about when we got to meet cast members or different people, that you get to live vicariously, at least through things that we got to experience if you weren't lucky enough to be able to be there. So that's always one of the things that we want to share with you guys. That's one of the reasons I do the podcast, is to try to do that. So All right, so we got another voicemail coming up. So thank you again, Tom. And this one is from Eddie. So I'll let Eddie tell his story. It's a great story.
Hi there. My name is Eddie. Mayberry is a very special place for me in my life. I've been watching it since 6, 7 years old. I'm Opie's age. And to me, it's very special because I've gone blind. I wasn't born blind. I have a retinitis pigmentosa, which takes your eyesight completely away. And for therapy, I watch Andy Griffith. All I have to do is hear 1 second of someone saying something, and I know the whole show. I can close my eyes and relax and comfort. It is such a blessing for me that the show has done this for my health. It's really, really helpful. Some trivia that I'd like to pass on that you might want to try. Through the years, there's been so many famous people on that show. For instance, maybe you could say, what did Barbara Eden's show, what did she go as? She was a nail technician. You remember that. Don Rickles was on the show. Bill Bixby, Buddy Epson, Jackie Coogan, if you remember that. Look at all these shows that are on there. Bewitched was on there. Dr. Bombay. You can say so many different things about these famous people that have appeared on there. Love Boat. You remember Captain Merrill Stubing was on there. He played the Hollywood film guy that eventually robbed the bank. It's just a classic show, and I'm so happy I found your podcast recently. Thank you again. I'm sure I'm going to call you again and again now that I have your number, and my name is Eddie. Thank you.
Wow, Eddie, thank you so much. I'm so glad you enjoy listening to the podcast and listening to the Andy Griffith Show. I do that myself, actually. Paul Mulick, listener and big, huge fan, great trivia expert. He years ago gave me the audio from episodes of the Andy Griffith Show. So I have like a CD or MP3s or something. I don't remember what they were. But I listen to episodes when I'm driving around. I have done that in the past, and there is something special about that because you have watched the shows enough that you remember what the characters are doing, and you can visualize in your mind's eye all the amazing things that they're doing. And man, that is, I'm glad that is a kind of therapy for you. It's a therapy for me just listening or watching the Andy Griffith Show. So, wow, that was a great voicemail. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And I'm so glad you're part of the podcast audience because, hey, it's folks like us, fans. That's what this whole podcast is all about, right? Is us. It's about us and how much we love this show and just what it's meant to us in visiting with people and talking with people and getting to meet people that are also huge Mayberry fans. So thank you again for calling in. All right, so next up we hear from Pat Sullivan. So Pat, take it away.
Hey, Ellen, it's Pat Sullivan. I know you know me from Mayberry Days 2001 video on YouTube, but I wanted to run something by you that you may or may not have heard. But when I was like 9 years old, we went to Mayberry Mill. It's in Virginia. As you know, Mount Airy's in like 15, 20 miles from the Virginia border. You cross over, and Mayberry Mills, I don't know, it's hard to judge the distance. It's like within 50 miles of Mount Airy, I think. And we were, this old grist mill, wood, had been there, I guess, as far back as early 1800s, maybe late 1700s, but it's still working. And we were touring it, and this local, I don't know if he worked there or what he did, but he said, you know, this is the most photographed grist mill in the country. He said, not only that, it's where Andy Griffith got the name Mayberry from Mayberry Mill. And I don't know if you ever heard that, but it may be just a story, or a legend. I don't know, but I wonder if anybody else has even heard that. Thanks.
Thank you so much for calling in. So Mayberry Mills, if you guys have never been to Mayberry Mill, it is, Oh yeah, probably 20 some odd miles from Mount Airy. You go up on the Blue Ridge Parkway, and you eventually get there if you go east on the Parkway. You will get to Mayberry Mill, and it is a beautiful place. It is one of the most photographed locations along the Blue Ridge Parkway, and I'm not sure that's really where Andy got the name directly from, but it is definitely in the general area, because in that same area, about 18 miles from Mount Airy, is the Mayberry Trading Post. Now, if you guys have seen or heard of that place, that is an area where Andy's mother grew up, in that general area around the Mayberry Trading Post, and that's it's just a little bit. It's east on the Parkway from the Mayberry Mill, is where it is. So it's in a place called Meadows of Dan, and so I think Mayberry Mill is as well. I'm not quite sure, but it's in the general area for certain. And the Mayberry Trading Post is definitely, that area is where the name Mayberry came from. So that's where it came from. So for the Andy Griffith Show, so it is in that general area. So definitely, if you're up there, go and see the Mayberry Trading Post and go over to see the Mayberry Mill. I don't think you'll be disappointed about either of those. So, but it is a beautiful place. Both places are very cool, and the Mayberry Mill is a very nice place. So thanks again for calling in. That is awesome. Let's see what's up next. Let's see. I think we got Frank. So this is Frank from South Carolina. So let's hear from him.
Hi there. This is Frank from Malden, South Carolina. I am watching the Andy and Opie Bachelors episode, and in this episode, Peggy sings a song. It made me think, obviously, Andy Griffith and Jim Nabors have released musical albums over the years, but I'm curious if any other cast members or guest stars may have put out music. It would make for an interesting discussion. Would love any insight that you may have, because obviously I think Peggy had a very nice voice. But just figured I'd put it out there, see if there's any insight you could provide. As always, thanks for all that you do.
All right. Thanks, Frank. Now, let's see. So the albums, of course, Andy has albums. The Dillards, the Darling Boys, have albums. Maggie Peterson, Charlene, she had some albums of jazz music and stuff, and you can buy some of that stuff over at Weaver's Department Store. If you go to the music section, you'll see there's all kinds of different CDs, DVDs you can check out over there. Most of them are either Andy. There's some the Dillards stuff. There's some of that, and Jim Nabors. Of course, we shouldn't forget Jim Nabors. But other than that, I don't know of cast members that actually put out albums. I know Howard Morris, Ernest T. Bass, had a song about Santa Claus that I've played on here before. I don't know if I have it queued up to be able to play that, but he has a song about Santa Claus that he sings that was a 45 record. That is definitely available and out there, but it's not an album. And he's singing it more like he was talking kind of, not quite Ernest T. like, but similar to that. That's about it. I don't know of any other albums put out by cast members. Jack Prince, who played Rafe Hollister, he may have been on the Destry Rides Again album that was from the stage show, Broadway, but it wasn't an album of him. He may have been on the album singing. I don't know. I think that's about it, I think. So if you guys, some of you folks that are actually musicians, you might have a better answer than I do about this. So I would love to hear from you. So definitely give me a call at 888-684-8415, or just email me the answer if you know the answer. We'd love to hear from you. Oh, that's true. George Lindsay. Wait, we got special notice coming in. George Lindsay also had an album. That's true. Who else? Anybody else? I'm asking Mrs. Weaver over here if we got anybody else. So yeah, George Lindsay had an album. I forgot about that. He did have an album out. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if there's any others. So if you guys if you guys have an answer, feel free to let me know. Folks have also asked before if it would be possible to make copies of the CDs of like Andy's, the music from the Andy Griffith Show. And no, because that would be a copyright problem. You couldn't just do that. You could do it yourself. But George Lindsay had the 96 Miles to Bakersfield album. I just happen to have in my hand that came floating in from the side over here. So thank you, Miss Weaver. There's a lot of copyright issues with all these things. So you can't just make copies. You can't make copies of the audio from the Andy Griffith Show. We were talking about that a minute ago. Now, what you can do, if you have the DVDs of the Andy Griffith Show or Blu-rays, you can copy the audio from that and make your own set. You can do that. That would be legal because you would be using something you already own. You've already paid for the license, so you could actually listen to it as you're driving around. You can do that. But it's not legal for Weavers, for instance, to take the music from the Andy Griffith Show and put it on CDs and sell them or anything like that. So couldn't do that. Wish we could, because that would be probably something that would sell, but we can't do that. All right, so our next caller, someone that called in, is this is from, you're going to like this. Y'all remember Howie from the Andy Griffith Show, don't you? Well, we got a call from Howie. So this is Dennis Rush. So, Dennis, take it away.
Hey, Alan. Dennis Rush calling from San Diego. Just wanted to say I just enjoyed your Gomer Pyle episode, and I was lucky to work with Jim Neighbors on 2 shows in the Andy Griffith Show, Back to Nature, and the real favorite one was A Deal is a Deal, when we're still on the Sav. Just wanted as a highlight and as a little trivia, I also got to work with Frank Sutton on an old Western called The Deputy, just before the Andy Griffith Show. So following Gomer into the Marines was also my fate. I went in the Marines in 1969, and sad to say, I think every platoon had a Gomer Pyle, and we had one fella just couldn't get left from right, right from left, and just kind of, there weren't a whole lot of funny things in boot camp, but that was one of them. So please take good care, and the best to Mrs. Allen, to Jan, and I'm sure glad you had a great time in Alaska.
Thank you, Dennis. Wow, Dennis is such a great guy. He has been so fun to get to know over the years of doing these Mayberry events. He's been able to come to, and it's been so fun getting to know him. He got his career. Wow, he got to do so many cool things. If you ever get a chance to listen to him, go and see him at one of the Mayberry events. I am going to get him on the podcast. I keep talking to him about it, and I just haven't followed through. So, Dennis, thank you so much for calling. Hopefully you'll be at Mayberry Days this year. I hope. I haven't heard yet for sure if you're going to be there, but it was great getting to see him in Scottsburg, Indiana. He was there this past June, so it was really good to see him there. And he's suffering, living there in San Diego, California, in the perfect weather. So thank you. So we do have another call that we're going to save for next week, because I don't know who it was. It was an anonymous call because they didn't tell me who they were, and it kind of cut off at the end as well. But we're going to use it on another episode coming up really soon, so we can go into it a little more. But I had some feedback from folks that wrote in. So here's one. First up, this is from one of our chat room members that's in here every week. He's Emmett. Emmett from the Fix-It Shop. His name's Ron Blankenship. He wrote in to tell me this. He said, "Let me tell you what happened today. I hadn't had a chance to listen to the podcast that he missed the week before, so I sat down to listen to it. When it started, my wife came over and started answering the trivia questions along with me. I never thought she even paid much attention to it when I watched the show. But to my surprise, she only missed 3 questions. I did miss one, but she really surprised me. Then we played the episode about the Mayberry Days trivia, and she didn't do too bad there either. I told her that she should go into the podcast with me, and we would come in as Emmett and Martha Clark. So congratulations to Emmett and Martha for doing a great job. Dennis will be at Mayberry Days. I was just informed. this is awesome. I'm getting notes and stuff handed to me. It's like having a staff. This is great. This is not normal. This is great. So Dennis will be at Mayberry Days. So you guys, if you're at Mayberry Days coming up in 2023, be sure and go up and say hi to Dennis. He is awesome. And congratulations to Ron and Martha. Martha, good job knowing the trivia. I remember when Jan did that. Jan had been a Mayberry fan just like me, but she got really good at the trivia. And I was going, wow, how do you do that? Well, it turns out she was scrapbooking. I didn't know it. She was making scrapbooks for me of all my Mayberry things that I've done over the years. And she was using quotes from the Andy Griffith Show. So she was watching episodes all the time to find out the quotes. And I would ask questions. She'd just pop back the answer. I was like, how do you know that? How did you just know that? That's right. Yeah, that's it. So that's how it happened to me. So, so I know the feeling, Emmett, that suddenly your wife is really good at Mayberry trivia. That's great. So congratulations. All right, so next up we have an email from Chuck. And he says, good afternoon, Alan. My wife and I finally got to watch Mayberry Man on Saturday afternoon. We loved it, and you, sir, were extra good in your part. Lots of luck to you and yours. So, Chuck, thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoyed Mayberry Man, the movie. It's been getting a lot of attention since in July of 2023, it became free. You can go and watch it. You can go check it out on Amazon Prime, on Tubi. That's an app you can download. It's free. Tubi. You can also watch it on YouTube. You can go on YouTube and search for it. It's Encourage TV is where it actually is, but it's on YouTube and you can watch it there. There's a lot of places you can go and watch it. And if you go and watch it and you really enjoy it and you want to get a copy of your own, head over to Weaver's and get you a DVD version of it. And you can even ask to have Floyd sign it if you'd like to. All right, so we got one more message. I've gotten more than this, guys. I just was unable to fit it all into this episode. I have not gotten to it since so many of you have sent this stuff in. There's a lot of stuff I have kind of backlogged. And I apologize for that, but thank you. Thank you so much for sending me all these things because it's really cool. All right, so let's hear this. This is from Jeff 2, TWE 2. He says, "Hello, Alan. We've corresponded before, but I wanted to reintroduce myself. My name is Jeff. I'm 45, and I was born and raised by my parents watching the Andy Griffith Show every day. I came across your podcast a couple of years ago and enjoy watching the new episodes, and I'm doing my best to watch all the previous episodes that you've created." Well, he's got, depending on when he started, he's got some work probably he's having to suffer through. He says, "I consider myself to be an extremely knowledgeable Andy Griffith Show fan, but today I learned something that I never knew was a fact in a certain episode." Okay, so he's got us going here. "I was watching MeTV's 3 must-see episodes of the week," because MeTV does that, episodes of the week, "and they mentioned the Andy Griffith Show episode, The Cow Thief, was based on a true story." That's right, a true story. MeTV is talking about that. "I was blown away by this and stunned that in the 40-plus years I've kept up with the Andy Griffith Show, I've never heard this. There are 2 accounts that I've found," he says, "giving 2 versions of the story. The IMDb page simply states that events of the episode are based off a true story from Mount Airy. MeTV, however, their article states that Andy was reading a Raleigh newspaper where he saw a story of a cow thief who put shoes on a cow. Before season 3 began, Andy met with the writers and bounced this idea off of them, and they laughed and all agreed the idea would be a great episode. This was all corroborated by Harvey Bullock in an interview with the Archive of American Television. It's on the internet, so you can go and watch it. There's a link to that story in the article by MeTV. I will put the link to the MeTV article in our show notes, so if you'd like to go and see all this stuff, you can go do it. He goes on to say, I wanted to share this with you in case you hadn't heard it either or had not discussed it on the podcast. I've watched around 200 of the Two Chairs shows so far and have not yet seen this discussed, which I don't think I've ever talked about this. I look forward to watching the other 500 or so Two Chairs No Waiting episodes that I haven't seen yet. Thank you for all you do. Your show is an amazing resource and provides happiness to my day each time I watch. Wow, thank you so much. Keep up the excellent work. All right, so that is a cool story. I didn't realize that either. I missed this because this story from MeTV was published back on June 29th of 2018. And either I missed it or forgot about it. That's both of those could be true. I'm not sure which is the right answer to this. But there was a real story. Boy, somebody needs to go and try to find the Raleigh newspaper, because it would have had to have been sometime before season 3 of the Andy Griffith Show. The Andy might have been reading in the Raleigh newspaper and try to find that article. Wouldn't that be great to find an article where they actually were talking about some cow thief putting shoes on the cow so that he could get away? I mean, that would be so fun. If you find it, please send it to me and I will read it here on the podcast, because that would definitely be, art imitating life in that case. And that's one of the reasons I think we love the Andy Griffith Show so much, is because it is real. It's like it could have happened. Some of this could have really happened in our hometowns or in our lives. And so it just makes it seem realistic. So thank you to everybody that called or wrote in. I know there's more of you that have done both, and I will be trying to get that caught up. Please, I would love to hear from you. You can give me a call at 888-684-8415. I'll tell you again at the end of the podcast, or email me at floyd@imayberry.com. And you too can be one of these listener feedback episodes. So thank you all. All right, guys, it is time for our trivia. So if you guys are ready, let's see. Let's get us our little background trivia music going. Thank you to the VW Boys at vwboys.com. You can pick up some of their albums there, I believe. Thank you for this music. And here we go. We're going to play some more of our trivia that we were playing the last few weeks. As soon as I can find the actual trivia. Oh, here it is. All right, so we're going multiple choice questions. Here we are. Question number one. Question number one. If you're ready, I am. Where does Barney keep his citation book? Is it A, tucked into his belt, B, in his back pocket, or C, in his cap? Where does Barney keep his citation book? So how's folks in the chat room are playing along with you. If you'd like to be a part of the chat room, you can join us on Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Time at live.twochairsnowaiting.com, and you can be a part of the chat room. All right, where does Barney keep his citation book? A, tucked into his belt, B, in his back pocket, or C, in his cap? The answer is C, in his cap. All right, question number two. Question number two is, what gift did Barney give his parents for their anniversary one year? What gift did Barney give his parents for their anniversary one year? Was it A, a septic tank? Was it B, an ice cream freezer? Or was it C, a stereo phonograph? What gift did Barney give his parents for their anniversary one year? They're hard to buy for. Was it a septic tank, an ice cream freezer, or a stereo phonograph? A, B, or C? The answer, all still reinforced, it was a septic tank. It was a septic tank. You're a fine son, Barn. I try. That's one of my favorites. All right, number three. Barney sometimes plays this instrument in the town band. Barney sometimes plays this instrument in the town band. Is it A, the trumpet, B, the cymbals, or C, the drums? Barney sometimes plays this instrument in the town band. Is it trumpet, cymbal or drums? A, B, or C? Barney plays B, the cymbals. The cymbals. All right, so that's our third question. Question number 4. Number 4. Where did Barney move when he left Mayberry? Where did Barney move when he left Mayberry? Was it A, Raleigh? Was it B, Greensboro? Or was it C, Charlotte? Where did Barney move when he left Mayberry? Raleigh, Greensboro, or Charlotte? A, B, or C? The answer, again, you can pause. If this is a podcast and it's recorded, that means you can probably pause it if you don't want to hear the answer. Where did Barney move when he left Mayberry? It was A, Raleigh. He moved to Raleigh. Question number 5. Number 5. Barney's Mayberry landlady was A, Mrs. Wiley, B, Mrs. Morrison, or C, Mrs. Mendelbright. Barney's Mayberry landlady was Mrs. Wiley, Mrs. Morrison, or Mrs. Mendelbright. The answer is Barney's Mayberry landlady was, I love you too, Mrs. Mendelbright. So it's C, Mrs. Mendelbright was his landlady. All right, number 6. Number 6. What night of the week do Barney and Thelma Lou usually watch TV with a pan of cashew fudge between them? Is it A, Tuesday, B, Monday, or C, Thursday? What night of the week do Barney and Thelma Lou usually watch TV with a pan of cashew fudge between them? I'm afraid to say the quotes because it might be something in the questions here. I'm looking ahead to try to figure out. All right, so what night of the week was it? Was it Tuesday, Monday, or Thursday? That's A, B, or C. What night of the week do Barney and Thelma Lou watch TV with a pan of cashew fudge between them? The answer is they watch that doctor show on TV on Tuesday nights. That's A. A is the answer. All right, number 7. Number 7. What job has Barney not held? Okay, which job has Barney not held? Was he A, a prune pitter? Was he B, a vacuum cleaner salesman, door to door? Or was he C, a real estate sales agent? Okay, which job has he not held? Of those jobs, which one has he not done? Was he not a prune pitter, a vacuum cleaner salesman, or a real estate salesman? So that's A, B, or C. Pause if you don't want to go ahead, but the answer is, which job has Barney not held? He was never a prune pitter. That was A, number A. Number A, letter A. A is the answer. Excuse me. All right, number 8. Number 8. What prize did Barney win in the church raffle? What prize did Barney win in the church raffle? A, 4 free breakfast at the diner. B, 4 free haircuts. Or C, 4 suits dry cleaned for free. All right. What prize did Barney win at the church raffle? 4 free breakfast at the diner. That's A. 4 free haircuts. That's B. Or C, 4 cleaned free. The answer is Barney won. You remember when I won that church raffle? 4 free haircuts? Yeah. Well, my name was in the paper and everything. Yeah, that's it. That's it. He won 4 free haircuts. Yeah, he got in his head I should marry Halcyon. Halcyon. Yeah. All right, number 9. Number 9. I got 2 more questions, guys. So number 9. Barney's police dog, Bloodhound, was a bloodhound named what? Was it A, Champ, B, Sport, or C, Blue? Barney's police dog was a bloodhound named Champ, Sport, or Blue? A, B, or C? A, B, or C? All right, so the answer is Barney's police dog was a bloodhound named Blue. His name was Blue. That's C. All right, our final question. Final question. Question 10. Barney was offered a job of sheriff of what town? Barney was offered the job of sheriff of what town? Was it A, Greendale? Was it B, Bannertown? Or was it C, Siler City? Barney was offered a job of sheriff in what town? A, Greendale, B, Bannertown, or C, Siler City? The answer, Barney was offered the job of High Sheriff of Greendale. A. That's right. So it was Greendale. All right, guys, how did you do? And did you have some fun doing it? Does it bring memories back to those episodes where you think about them as we read the questions? I know that's what happens to me. And that's why I enjoy the trivia. I start laughing. And of course, I have to be careful as I read the questions to you because I can't remember all the questions. And I'm always afraid I'm going to give you an answer by starting to quote things around the question. I'm really not that good at the trivia, by the way. That's why I ask trivia. That's why I like to ask it instead of actually doing it. All right, guys. So how did you do? There was 10 questions. Some folks in the chat room, Kentucky Mike in particular, got 100%. He got them all. So there were 10 questions. I guess that would be 10 points each. So 100%. He made 100. Not 99, but 100 is what Mike made. How did you do? I hope you did well. So, all right, guys, that is basically, I think that's all I got for us tonight. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed hearing your fellow listeners give a little feedback. We'll have a little bit more of that next week and some more trivia and all kinds of stuff. And I would love to hear from you because that's what this episode is all about, hearing from you. And I think I enjoy that because you hear from me all the time. It's fun to hear from you guys. Thanks to everybody that took time to call or write in. I appreciate you. And folks, if you'd like to do that, you can give me a call at 888-684-8415. You can email me at floyd@imayberry.com. There's lots of other ways you can reach out to me. If you head over to twocairsnowaiting.com, you'll find all those ways right there so that I'll find your questions or answers or anything like that. So thank you all for being here with me, and we'll see you next time right here on Two Chairs. Good night, everybody.